for another review of Sisters on BET. We're going to jump right into it. This is season 4, episode 14, Money is King. All right, so Karen is still at the doctor's office and she's just in her bag about the news. And what I realize is she's in her bag because she's only 4 weeks along, which means anybody could be the damn daddy. We still don't know who the daddy of this baby is. So she's reeling in the news. The doctor has let down. So Aaron asked, what did the doctor say? What did he say? And she's like, well, according to the timeline, it could be anybody. So he's kind of smirking like, I knew there was a possibility. Where before she had been telling him like, there's no possibility. There's a possibility. There's a 50-50 shot at this point. So he's smirking and she's upset about the fact that he's excited about being a father in his child's life. Girl, out of all the things you want in life, a deadbeat baby daddy is probably not at the top of the list. So this is some displaced anger, but I'm going to let you have it. All right, so he's like, I know you're upset, but I'm really not sorry about it. Like, I'm excited about the possibility of potentially being this child's father. Like, what do you want me to do? Now, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron already got churned with that white lady that killed herself the other season in the shop, but we're gonna let this man be happy. It don't matter what number he's on, he's excited. Let him be excited. All right, so he's like, what is so wrong with me being the father? I'd be a way better father than Zach. And he's starting to realize like it's getting clear to him that she didn't want him to be the dad. And he's like, okay, well, there may be another way. And she's like, just give me a second. Like, let me process everything and we'll go from there. And he tells her he's going to give her a second to wrap her head around things, give her some space to process. Either way, he ain't leaving. He ain't going nowhere. He's 100% in support of however this goes. And in this scene, it ain't often that I sympathize or empathize, whichever word is applicable, with Karen, but in the scene, I understand that it's a toss-up. Like, you're not sure. Your hopes are leaning one way, but your heart may be taking you another. You don't know what's going on, and this news is brand new, and he's still pressuring you to figure out who it is, when you just need to, like, take a second, figure out, what's going on, how you're going to process and move forward. Understandable. Also understandable is the fact that Aaron is ecstatic again about the fact that he could potentially be this child's father. And like he said, he may well be a better father to this baby than Zach. Why? Not because Zach may not be a good child's father, but because y'all are together and there's a willingness. If nothing else, y'all are together, air quotes. But and Zach has decided that he's 1,111% sure that he's done with you and you done with him. So wouldn't you prefer the dad that's in-house, that's willing and able? I don't know. Either way, I understand both of y'all. Moving on. At the airport, Preston calls Danny, claims to have left some items at her house and to put them in a box by the front door. And leave them, and she's like, okay, and she's like, okay, well, just come by and get the stuff. Why am I leaving them outside? And he's like, no, I got a date tonight. And he was like, no, I'll get them after you leave for work in the morning. What time you go to work? She's like, same time I've been going, 10 o'clock. He's like, okay, I'll be by 11, because that way you'll be gone by then. I'm off of that. I ain't on that no more, whatever. And just those words lets her know that that's not your speech. You don't be, I'm off that. That's not even your vernacular. What are you off? What are you talking about? She didn't say it to him, but she, in her mind, light bulb went off. That's not your language. That's Zach's language. So she calls Sabrina and asks her for Zach's address, and they go back and forth. Sabrina stalls for a little while. She reminds her, should I remind you of all the lies I told your parents in college, and the things I covered for you for, just guilt tripping her, and then she ends up giving her the address. And so Danny's gonna ambush Zach later on in the episode to figure out why in the hell he's giving Preston advice on their dating life, or the lack thereof. All right, so back at the jail, Andy has went to see the judge and she not budging. She don't want to hear nothing about it. No bail. No, get out of my face, pretty much. And Fatima's like, well, I should let my homeboys kill him. Like, I really should. And Andy's telling her, like, girl, don't say that in here. She's like, girl, you my attorney. I can say what I want to say. And she's like, it don't work like that in the jail. Like, okay, while we have attorney-client privilege, Trust me, it's the legal system in America. They're gonna find a way to finagle that as evidence. Is what I'm presuming the conversation to mean. Because yeah, while she's your attorney, you're in a public space. So if you're recorded, that can be submitted as evidence, which means the attorney-client privilege goes out the window, pretty much. All right, so she's like, man, I only slept with Hayden one time, and he just doing all that. Like, slept with him one time, and it wasn't even worth what's all coming with it. So, now he's stalking me, and he trying to take me down, even though he's been bothering me. And she's like, well, still, don't tell Zach. We a lot alike, and I know once that switch is turned on, ain't no turning it off. So just give me some more time. And Andy tells her, like, girl, he gonna be worried. Like, I don't know how many more lies I can tell to stall, but we're gonna go with it. We're gonna see what we can work out. And Fatima is worried because Zach is still on probation. So again, just hold off, because shit gonna get thick if you tell him. All right, so and she also tells Andy, like, okay, listen, he's on probation, and he also just got arrested again. He's out now. I'm not gonna tell you why until we figure out my situation. That's not your business just yet. But which, if things aren't people's business, or if you are not willing to give all the details at that moment, why would you give me something? Like, I hate when people be like, oh girl, I got tea to tell you, but I'm gonna call you back in 3 days. Girl, shut up and just call me when you can tell me everything, because that's annoying. That's annoying as hell. Anyway, moving right along. So Fatima won't tell her, because Fatima says she won't tell her because she's too close to Karen. So if I tell you why you went to jail, you're gonna go back and tell your homegirl Karen. No, ma'am, not yet. Just give me a minute. I ain't gonna tell you just yet. All right. And so Andy tells her, we got another 1 or 2 more rams in the bush. Hopefully Robin can intercede and maybe talk to the judge and figure out what he can find out. Or I could file a motion to get the judge removed from the case, which may or may not be likely at this point. So we'll see. And Andy feels like, she's going to do everything she can because Fatima has done a lot to help her out, these last couple months or years or whatever the timeline is. And, she really want to help her out. So in the meantime, girl, just keep your head up, and I'm going to make it do what it do at some point. All right. So back at the salon, she's sitting in the car. Karen is sitting in the car with Aaron, and she's apologizing. I'm sorry for sleeping with you. Sorry for, contributing to everything that's going on in your life. Sorry. And he's like, there's really no need to be sorry. I just want to know, where we're going with it, what's going on. He wants to be there for her, but she wants space. I mean, if she wants space, she just wants space. We know it's Karen. We know she mean. We know she's surly. We know she don't have her head on straight. We know she's still in love with Zach. But you forcing yourself in her space when she wants space ain't gonna make it no better. Actually, it's gonna be a opposite effect. But he's agreed to give her space, so we'll go with that. Moving right along. So they get inside, and Pam, wants to know what happened, and they get into a little bicker and match. Claims she's worried about her. Karen is flipping out, like, no, you're not. You just nosy. You just want to be in people's business. Don't play with me. You're gonna get fired. Don't do too much. And that was the end of that. All right. Moving right along. So Gary calls Hayden, and he wants to see if Robin is back in the office. And Hayden is looking like, what are you talking about? Why would he be back in the office? And so that confirms to Gary, like, he knew Andy was lying, that Robin didn't stay there. Robin is not back in town. And Hayden tells him, he works in the London branch of the bank. Why would he be here? And then Hayden, the light bulb goes off in his head, like, oh, Hayden realizes that Robin and Andy are hooking up. So now he got even more ammo against the people who he currently hates, which is Andy and Fatima. So now Gary done gave him more ammo to be a douchebag as he normally is. All right, so Gary's like, okay, whatever. Let me know when he gets back in town. And then Hayden is just on this whole bragging spree and tells Gary about Fatima being locked up. And Gary's like, oh, crap. Does Zach know? And it's like, and he's like, no, I don't know if he knows, but the bitch is in jail. I don't know what you want me to do. And so they leave it at that. So they're still conniving. So that confirms how Gary knows that Robin is or isn't at the house, or in town anyway. Now, there's still more that's going to come later in my predictions that's going to tell how you know who is or isn't in that condo, because the only thing Hayden can tell you is if he's in town, not his actual, minute to minute whereabouts. So I still think there's cameras and bugs and taps and things in that condo, but to be determined. We'll see. All right. So Jake overhears what Hayden was saying to Gary on the phone, or what Gary was saying to Hayden on the phone. And so he walks into the office and he asks, so Jake, okay, so now we can wrap this up. We can full circle this. So Jake was sent to Zach by Gary to help him out with his investing and to determine if he is in fact legit. So he asked, is Zach legit? And Jake, for some reason, I don't know the ulterior motive, or if there even is one, or if he has taken a liking to Zach by way of being planted in Zach's life by Gary, right? So he covers for Zach and says, no, he's legit. He knows his stuff. Even though he was the one that helped him study the questions that the FCC may ask him. And so Gary's like, well, the FCC is going to want to look into him because he came into this fortune. And Jake is like, no, he knows his stuff. He knows his information. Maybe he was just lucky. So I'm not sure if Gary's the person that sent the FCC in that direction, or if he's just hoping they are going to be able to find more than he is. Either way, Jake is telling him, y'all wasting y'all time. This dude is on his stuff. It ain't gonna really go far because he know what he's doing. So then he calls Zach and leaves him a message. So I'm assuming he's gonna give him a heads up or something, or check on him. I don't know what he's gonna do, but Jake seems to be on Zach's side. I'm not sure what it is about the bromance that swayed him. I don't know, other than y'all just having regular old conversation, but he appears to be on Zach's side currently. We'll see how that develops. All right. So back at the law firm, Andy runs into Hayden. And so he's on this whole high right now. And so he's walking around just glowing like, oh, I heard you was trying to talk to the judge. And she was like, yeah, so what business is that of yours? Like, after everything you put Fatima through, what more do you want? Like, do you still want her? And he's like, no. And Hayden's like, no, I got my plan figured out. I don't want her no more. I really just want to make her and Zach as miserable as possible. And Andy realizes like, oh, you really just jealous of them being together. That's really the problem. Like, you couldn't get her, so now you have a problem with whoever else happened to have her. After one sexual encounter. One thing about a stalker, they don't care. They don't care nothing about what makes logical sense, what is outside of their scope of feasibility, what's going to get them beat the hell up. They don't care about none of that. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'll just tell you that. And I'm going to leave that alone. All right. He wants to make her, and he, reminds him, tells him that he's jealous, and he reminds her, like, all right, while you're talking, have you talked to the partners? Because I have a meet with them, to get your homegirl fired, because like I said, she's the liability, and she needs to go. And Andy reminds him that, okay, if Fatima is fired, I'm going to walk. I am an asset to this company. So now they get into this pissing match, and she's like, listen, aptly titled, money is king. So while you have your particular skill sets that the law firm may utilize, I bring in more money to this firm than you. And cash is king. Especially in this realm of feasibility, cash is king. So while you around here pissing on stuff, just know I'm the big dog. Pretty much is what the conversation went like. Because if you recall, when the partners found out that Andy was sleeping with Gary, they was trying to fire her, but somehow or another realized that she was an asset and kept her on and gave her a raise. And gave her a better position, if I'm not mistaken. So Andy is indeed an asset to the company by way of either being great at her job or being able to bring money into the firm. And when it comes to those large corporations, again, like she said, money is king. They will fire their mama if they're not bringing in the money. And I know that to be a fact. So, again, money is king. So you could do what you will. However, I'm gonna put a caveat on that because that's cool. You may have the law firm in your pocket, but he got the judge in his. So it could be a draw. We don't know. We don't know how this going to go. All right, so maybe Hayden was feeling like he was losing the pissing match, and so he blurts out, "Oh, so sleeping with the manager or whatever Robin's position is, oh, that's what you think? That's what you think is going to get you ahead? That's what you think is going to matter? And so he's under the assumption that Robin is just he just works at the London branch of the bank. No, baby. Hayden is the CEO. Hayden owns, if not total, partial. Hayden is an owner in the company. So you don't know the scope of who Robin is. So you don't even know the full game that you're playing. And I hope that comes back to bite you in your ass. I just hope so, but we'll see. All right. Moving right along. So, at Zach's, Danny pops in to ambush him to question him about rodeo cowboy Preston. All right. She want to make sure, 2 questions. She wants to make sure that he's not doing anything illegal because the cops showed up at Karen's looking for him. 1, and for 2, and she tells her that he did get arrested, but they're sorting it out. It's nothing that's his fault. You know, whatever. I'm not gonna get into all that. Is what Zach telling her. I'm not getting into all that. What else you want? She also asks about Preston. So you're the one that's been hooking him up with the other girls. Because his dates are people that Zach knows. All right, by a process of elimination, he's using your vernacular, he's pulling your type moves, and he dating people that you know. Duh, Zach, it's obvious. I mean, he gonna deny it to the last. He did deny it to the last ass, but and so the way that he's been talking, like I said, is lingo from Zach. And Danny just has him like stop giving him BS advice. Because he's doing some of the same crap that you did to Karen. This is what Preston is doing to me. And so Zach, goes to bat for Preston, and he's like, well, if you stop acting like you already like him, you need to, he's standing up for Preston. Like, you need to stop acting like that. Get that man a shot. Blah, blah, blah. Even if I did give him advice, you like him. Whatever. And then, Danny reminds him like, okay, even if I do like him, if he's following your advice, I'm definitely not going to like him no more. So if y'all won't play games, I'm going to play the field. So y'all figure it out, since y'all won't be bros, y'all handle that over there. All right, so he also reminds her like, okay, cool, that's fine, but if you don't ever really want to tell him how you feel, you run the risk of losing Preston. Is that a risk he's willing to take by way of him following Zach's advice? It's to be determined. We'll stay tuned to see. All right. Zach also reminds her that ain't really shit out there in the dating pool. Like some people say, there's pee in the dating pool. I don't know why that analogy is a thing, but he reminds her like ain't really nothing out there, so you might want to get him while the getting is good and go sit your ass down somewhere. So either that or stop stringing him along, and y'all can both just move on with your lives. And then she gives him he gives her a tour of the condo. All right, so at the bank, Marcia's about to leave and go home. Sabrina asks him if he's going to see Q. She heard him say he's going to be on the stoop. He claims that she misheard him. Maurice tells her, if you so interested in it, you can come by the house and see Calvin, and maybe y'all can talk. And he was really mad about them flowers. Which, why are you upset? You told you didn't want no parts when you stormed out. You said you was through with it, so you can't really be hurt about something that you're not a part of anymore. I'm not really sure what that's about. But anyway, she's gonna wait for him to calm down and for him to call her. Those two exhausting. I don't even care. I don't care. All right. After the tour, Danny expresses her sincere happiness for Zach and how she feels about Karen. Asks him how did he feel about Karen's baby potentially being his. And he's like, it is what it is. If it is, I'll do what I need to do. Pretty much. Danny believes that it is his, and if it's again, he tells her if it is, I'll be there. I'll do what needs to be done. So again, there's varying positions. If it is Zach is literally going to do what needs to be done. If that's by child support, if that's by sporadic visitations, whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be as involved, I'm assuming, as with Aaron, because I'm assuming if Aaron is the baby daddy, then you and Aaron are going to be together, which means Aaron will be in the house with the baby full time. It's kind of I don't know. Either way, it don't matter. You can't really change the DNA. You could just wait around and see who the confirmed father is. So all of this don't even really matter to nobody. Danny asks him, what does Fatima think about the baby? And Zach tells her, you know how she feels. She said it when she was at Andy's house that time. Don't try to get me, no different answer out of me. And then he reminds her, like, I'm 1,000% sure that I'm done with her. And then she reminds him that, yeah, but y'all just had sex in her office. So are you sure about that? And he's like, that was a moment of weakness. And now he has a woman that makes him strong. And she'll know what it feels like if she gives Rodeo Cowboy Preston, a actual chance at being in a relationship. And she reminds him before her departure that, hey, if you want to give out some advice, how about you don't send him on no dates with no black women? That's kind of productive. But what you can do is you can make him watch some documentaries, maybe a James Baldwin book or two, maybe so he can, what I presumed the message to be is, maybe so he can learn a little bit more about the black plight. So we would have more in common or more understanding of each other than just talking about damn cows and sheep and horses all damn day. Like, we would have a little bit more to talk about. Fair, I guess. All right. At Maurice's, Calvin and Q are in there just chit-chatting away, child. They are having a grand old time talking about grandmas and living their best life. Calvin claims he was on the stairs just starving and he invited him up to eat. And Maurice is like, girl, why are you so she asks, Maurice asks Calvin, hey, why are you so chummy? And then he realizes, like, oh, okay, so it was the penis that got me, but what was it that got you? Because Q has the gift of gab and, a skill to be able to reel you in. And so he's like, well, what is it that got you? And Calvin tells him, like he has a story to tell. You should listen. And Maurice tells him, yeah, don't we all? But we all got a story to tell. We all have life experiences, but that didn't prompt us to go rob a bank. So what did you talking about? I don't want to hear it. And so he realized that Q made dinner for them, and it's Maurice's favorite meal, which is smothered pork chops, mac and cheese, and greens. Good choice. But, so he finally sits down to eat, and Calvin is like, listen, he really has a very interesting story to tell. Just listen to him. And Maurice's like, I don't want to hear it, but Q tells the story anyway. And the story goes that when he was 3, his mom's boyfriend would come into his room when she was at work, and he told his mama about it, and she didn't believe him. And that is where they left the story. Now that was annoying because why y'all left that man's story like that? Why y'all didn't finish that out? Like, what was the result? Like, did he resent his mama as a result? Which is probably typically what happens. Like, did he kill the mama boyfriend? Well, he was only 3. He can't kill. Okay, never mind. That's not an option. But literally, they left the story at a cliffhanger. Like, he told his mama, she didn't believe him. I guess which kind of led to his deviant behavior, which led him to do these things, ultimately leading him to robbing the bank. Wow, plausible. Wow, understandable. Wow, sad. That wouldn't have been enough for me to let you back into my house, because in the preview for next episode, it shows that Calvin believes him or is comfortable enough to let him move in. I got it. I know your story is sad and it's sob, and it's every black person got the same story. So, well, not the same, but similar story. So I don't know if that's enough to let you move into my house again, considering you done robbed me and stalked me and all these other things. But okay, child, we'll see what happens. Anyway, all right, so we are back at the law firm, and Zach stops by. He's looking for Fatima. Fatima ain't there, so he's looking for Andy. He sees Andy comes around the corner, and she is just jilted, surprised to see Zach standing right there, because we know what he's there for. He's looking for Fatima. All right, so she claims she had her running errands all day long, and then Hayden comes waltzing up the stairs, and he's like, "No, I'll tell you where Fatima is." And I locked her ass up. I put her in jail. What you want to do about it? And Andy is like, she is pleading, but she is standing between the two, basically kind of forcing them apart. Like Zach, please, just let's go somewhere else. I will tell you what happened. Just let's go. And Hayden is just, bragging about it. Like, I like your bitch up. I like your bitch up. Like, he is really singing a song about it. and it is getting, you can see the thermometer rising on set. And so he's losing his shit, and again, Hayden is singing a song about it, and Zach can't take it no more. He jukes Andy, he goes around her and scoops Hayden up. I mean, straight, what is that, a DDT? Whatever wrestling move that is. Pick this boy up by his legs, and he slams him. So now, of course, a fight is going to ensue, and, Hayden might send him to jail. So, that's it. That is it. I'm ready to know who this baby daddy is, because I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready for Sabrina and Calvin to part ways and just be done, because also that is tiring. I also saw in the preview for the next episode that some women are going to be following Danny and Sabrina in the store, and what I'm guessing is those are the princes, the restaurateur. Maybe those are his wives or his girlfriends, because they appear to be from where he's from. And they're just snickering and giggling. So we're going to find out what's so funny, because Danny done already said, why is y'all following me? So what's so funny? So of course that's going to be a confrontation that's going to be coming up. All right, so that is it. Let me know what you think about the episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.